So last night, I was nearly scammed. I nearly fell for it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened so that this does not happen to you. These scammers are extremely sophisticated. So this is not a political video, but this is a warning video. This is a kind of like consider it a public service announcement. So last night, I was on the phone with my father, and I started receiving a telephone call from a 1-877 number. And I declined it thinking it was just spam telemarketers. The number calls again, and I once again declined the call, and it calls a third time. So this time I think, all right, fine, I'm just going to answer it. Who is this? What do they want? So I answer the phone, and the gentleman on the line says, ma'am, this is so-and-so from Chase Fraud Department, and we see a number of charges on your bank account that we believe are not authorized. Did you recently travel to Chicago, Illinois? I said, no, absolutely not. He says, okay, well, we're going to go over a few of the charges to verify that these are the fraudulent charges on your account. I'm like, okay. And he says, just one moment here. He goes, through the system. And he says, okay, I see that you have a charge from Target in the amount of $237.15. I was like, no, absolutely not. He says, okay, we're going to go ahead and mark that one. I see you got another charge here for Walmart, $272.63. No, I didn't do that. Says, okay, I see we've got another charge here, Home Depot for $562.16. No, definitely not. Like, who is taking all this money? The guy says, well, it turns out that it looks like they skimmed your card, and they also were able to access your PIN. Do you physically have the card in your possession? I said, yes, of course, I have it right here. He says, okay, well, they must have skimmed your card, maybe at a gas station if you were using your PIN number there. Anywhere you might have used your PIN, maybe at the grocery store, they were able to skim your card. They have your card information and they have your PIN. That's how they were able to do this. But we put a flag on these purchases because this is outside of your travel pattern. And so don't worry, we didn't allow these to come out of your account. And I'm thinking, okay, that's good because I didn't see anything in my bank account. I go and I try to log into my bank account while I'm on the phone with this gentleman. I try to get onto my online banking and I'm logged out. I'm locked out of the account. I can't get into it. And I said to him, I can't even get into my bank account to see what charges these people might have done. And he says, well, that's because we froze your online bank account because we froze your online banking because we don't want anybody to get in there. There's been a breach, so we went ahead and froze everything. And he says, and we're also going to be canceling out your card and freezing your bank account, and we will be issuing you a new card that we will overnight to you tomorrow, so you should be having it by Wednesday, and that if you need money, you can go to the branch and take out money from the branch. I'm thinking, okay. And the guy says, also, we see that there was somebody that tried to wire transfer out $3,000 from your account. Did you do that? I was like, no, absolutely not. And they say, well, we also have the name of the gentleman that attempted to receive the wire. He gives me a name, James, something, and says this person attempted to get the wire transfer from your account. But we do have their social security number and their name, and so we will definitely be adding them to the case and looking into them. And I'm like, yeah, track them down. Who is this criminal? Who is this crook trying to take money out of my bank account? And the guy says, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and generate the case here. Let's go ahead and go over some more of your transactions just to make sure we've got all of the fraudulent charges. I say, okay. He says, well, were you recently in Boise, Idaho? Yes, I was. I was just in Boise, Idaho this last weekend with family. And he says, well, we do have some charges here. We've got, and he rattles off some of my actual charges in Boise and some of my actual charges from before I left Boise here in Los Angeles. And I said, yeah, no, those charges are real. Those are mine. He mentions my Washington Post subscription, my LA, all of my news subscriptions for everything that I have to subscribe to do the show. And my some other work, because he was talking about my business account that had been hacked. So I say, no, those charges are fine. Those are good. Don't judge me, by the way, for having to subscribe to the Washington Post or to the New York Times or anything like that, guys. I have to do my job. It is what it is. I got to know what they're saying. Anyway, he then says, okay, we are generating the case. What we're going to do is send you over a PIN number This is going to help you log back into your account once we're no longer on the phone. So you'll receive this in a text message. And I say, okay. Suddenly I get a text message from, 247 let me see what it says here. The text I received was from 242-733. It says from Chase Online, identification code, gives me an 8-digit number. And I say, okay, I got it. And he says, okay, let's go ahead and verify you got that 8-digit code. Go ahead and read it to me. So I read him the code. And he says, all right, so we're getting set here. He says, let me go ahead and give you the case number. Rattles off a really long case number to me that I write down. He says, let's just make sure you've got this for your records. I say, okay. And he says, now I'm going to send you, he says, by the way, when we're on this phone call, you might receive a telephone call from the scammers. They have been figuring out that we're locking down the accounts, and they have been calling while we're on the phone. So just be aware you might receive a phone call. Those are the scammers. But don't worry, we know that this is happening. So, just be aware of this. So as I'm sitting there talking to the guys, we're going over all the various different charges. I do receive a phone call, and I say, oh my gosh, I'm getting a call now. And he says, yeah, those are the scammers, but we're aware of it. Can you tell us the telephone number? Because we're monitoring several numbers that the scammers are using. So I give him the telephone number, and he says, yep, that's one of the registered numbers from the scammers. So we've got that in the case file here, and we'll make a note of that they did attempt to call you. Well, so I'm on the phone total with this person for 25 minutes. 25 minutes, that's a very long time to be on the phone with somebody, going over various charges, charge after charge after charge, having them they sent me 2 different text messages for identification codes to to say that verifying it was me, and that I needed to give them the code so that they could process the fraudulent charges, or give them the code so that they knew that I'd gotten the code for logging back in online. Very elaborate. So when I'm on the phone, I can actually see, I have transcribed voicemail. So I can actually see my voicemails, and I can actually listen to them when I'm on the phone with somebody. So I get the voicemail and I see it, and it says, this is James so-and-so calling from Chase Fraud Department. And I'm thinking, so I listen to the voicemail when I see the transcription, and I listen to the guy, and he says, this is Chase Fraud Department. We have suspicious activity on your account. Please give us a call. It gives me a telephone number and says, or call the number on the back of your card. And I'm thinking, that's weird. Scammers wouldn't tell you to call the number on the back of the card, would they? Why would they? That wouldn't even make sense. So I say to the guy, I just listened to the voicemail, and it says that it's Chase Fraud Department. And how do I know you're Chase and they're not Chase? How do I know who's who? And the guy says, well, ma'am, I can assure you that we are Chase. I can go back through some more of your transactions. And I said, yeah, okay, go back over some more of my transaction history. So he goes through several more of my actual real transactions that I did make. And I'm thinking, okay. And he says, all right, ma'am, so it looks like we've got everything set. We're going to go ahead and process this fraud case, and you've got the number. The only thing we need to do left is we need to process this we need to verify you. Go ahead and enter your PIN. When you can either do the automated system to enter your PIN, or we could do it over the phone. It's faster if you do it over the phone. Now, I'm already a little bit tipped off because I get this call and it says that it's the fraud department, and to call the number that they give me or the number on the back of my card. So I'm already kind of like, who's who? I don't even know what's up from down at this point. And I said to the guy, send me to the automated system. So he sends me to an automated system, a robotic automated system that says, for your security, we need to have you enter your PIN. It goes through this whole official thing. And as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's who. I don't know what's real. So I just hung up the phone. I hung up. I didn't put my PIN in. I hung up. Immediately, the guy tries calling back. I don't answer. He tries calling back again. I don't answer. I'm fumbling with my card, getting to the back of the number on the back of the card. I thought about calling the number from the voicemail, and I thought, no, don't do that. Call the number on the back of the card. I know for sure that's Chase. So I called the number on the back of the card. While I'm calling that number and I'm being put on hold, the other number keeps calling me back. Finally, I get through to I know it's my bank because I've made the phone call. And they said, yeah, we attempted to call you because there was a recent charge that came through your account that looks fraudulent. I cannot tell you any information about that transaction. You need to go into a branch. But we did attempt to call you and we left a voicemail. And I said, how do I know which one was the one that called me from actual Chase? Because I've got 2 phone calls coming from you guys. How do I know which one? Was I talking to the Chase person or was I not? Or, which one was the scammer? Which one was the real person? And the guy says, well, I can tell you the number. I said, can you tell me the number they would have called me from? And he says, well, no, because we generate several different numbers, but I could tell you the number they would have told you to call back. And I said, okay. So I verified it with the voicemail, and it was the number in the voicemail that was left to me. So I was on the phone with the scammer for 26 minutes in total. 26 minutes. This person had my actual bank transactions. They knew my transactions. And of course, they knew my number, which is why they were able to do this extra layer of trickery, which was to send me these codes that looked like it came from my bank, from the 247 number, 242-733, text, making it look like that was official coming from my bank. It was all very, very scary. Now, of course, my bank has shut everything down at this point. I have to switch all new bank accounts. I have to get all new cards. It's a giant hassle. But I have to go into the branch to get that done. So I'm actually going to head to the branch after I've told you guys all about this whole saga. But the thing that fully triggered me, definitely my bank calling me while it was happening and me looking at my voicemail and being able to hear my voicemail and see my voicemail to alert me that something's not right. But the real thing that triggered me was when the guy asked for my PIN. And I thought, my bank has never asked for my PIN ever on the phone. That's never happened. So I hung up, and now my next step, of course, is to go into an actual branch where I know I'm talking to my actual bank and dealing with this situation. But look, I mean, normally when you think of scammers, you think these are the people that just trick like old people or something, but these guys got me. I mean, they nearly got me. And had I not received that voicemail, I think I would have fell for it and entered my PIN. I think I might have done that. This guy was so official. This guy had all of my information, had all of my transactions. I was getting text messages on my phone that looked like they were from Chase. The guy sounded like he was helping me out. And meanwhile, they were absolutely scamming me. They had my card information, or they had access to obviously they had access to my online banking account. And they must have had access to the card, and they just wanted to get the PIN off the card so that they could use it or sell it or whatever. It's more valuable, I'm sure, with the PIN if they were to sell it. I don't know, but I nearly got duped, guys, so you guys should know about it. I'm going to tell you the telephone number that they called me from. Now, they called me from 877-691-8086. That's 877-691-8086. That's the number they called me from. I'm sure they generate other numbers, but just keep an eye on that number. Maybe enter it into your phone and put, scammer, so that you avoid them. Do not give them your information. Do not give them your PIN. That's what they're looking for. And if they do call you, then they have access to your online bank, and you're going to have to, no matter what at that point, unfortunately, these people they've already gone too far, and you're going to have to shut down all of your stuff, and you're going to have to go do the big hassle that I'm about to go do. So, what a nightmare. Don't fall for it.